what should we have done? I said, well, you got to throw it there. You got to throw it to start off. I said, you can't decide when you get a free quarter. Once you get that far, that's when you're sort of saying, well, maybe we can force the team to go the extra. But to set up a steal, and then they all of a sudden some blocks got played, and then they decided to go. And it was bizarre. They got lucky. Mary made a really nice shot. Nice one. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mayflower Curling Club. Draw number 4 in the Nova Scotia Men's Deloitte Tankard. Here this morning with Pam Sullivan, and we're going to be carrying the game between Chad Stevens and Paul Dexter. We're at the midway point of the week, if you can have a midway point in 7 games, Pam, and time for teams to kind of turn it up a notch.
I think it is, and I think it'll start to really separate some of the field. It's fairly close right now amongst a lot of the teams in terms of their scores. I think Dexter is at 3-0. So he's the leader of the pack so far.
Yeah, you're right. Paul's team is the only undefeated team remaining in the event, and some real upsets yesterday. I think you'd have to call them real upsets. It's you had Chad Stevens, who's here, as the number 2 seed coming into this event, and lost twice yesterday, and lost pretty handily in the second game, quite handily. They only played 5 ends against Brent McDougall. So rough day for Chad. He'll be looking to rebound in this one.
I expect so. So Chad Stevens' record so far is 1 win and 2 losses, and I think we'll expect to see him come out strong here this morning. We have a pretty typical end setting up here, I think. It looks like Chad is trying to come around with his second rock there. This is looking pretty good. The guys are sweeping it now. It's got a curl to get behind cover a bit. Ooh, what a nice shot. That looks just great. They're really starting this end off with some energy and putting lots of rocks in play to begin with, so it should be a fun end. Yeah, so here we have another shot coming in. It looks like they're trying to freeze right on top of the rock from Chad Stevens' lead. Just a little bit of a bump there, but still a pretty good shot.
Yeah, so we've said this before, Pam, but it's quite a noticeable difference in how the men's draw starts and the women's draw starts. Generally speaking, the men go right at it early. They just basically have rocks in play from the first end on, and the women usually wait a couple of ends.
Well, we're certainly seeing that this morning. This should play out to be a pretty interesting end, I think.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Chad's certainly going to be looking to regroup. It's, he would really be one of the favorites here this week, and yesterday was not a fun day for those guys. Paul's team has just quietly been very good this year. They've not had a bad season at all, and every time I see them, they seem to be playing well. They went through the qualifier undefeated, and I know that they work really hard. Their coach, Marty and Gavin, works with them, and they work as hard as anybody, maybe harder than most, and certainly shows when you get to an event like this.
Well, this team is a fairly young group as well. I see Paul Dexter is 27. He's a project engineer at Trihedral Engineering. His third is Mark Robar, who's 37. He's an advisor with TD Insurance. Then we have a couple of 23-year-olds on the front end, Michael Brophy and Taylor Ardiel. Is that right? Did I say that right? Ardiel?
We'll go with it.
So, yeah, we'll see how they make out this morning.
Yeah, a good young team. Mark is the old guy at 37, and there might have been a time when I thought 37 was old, but not anymore. Good team. Some of them have played together for quite a while. They've kind of, I think Mark and Paul have been together for quite a while, and I think Brophy joined these guys. I think he was on the team last year, and I think Taylor might be the new guy on the team this year. And you are right. The pronunciation, according to Selena's phonetic thing here, is Ardiel.
Ardiel, very good.
He did very well. So they had opening up all of a sudden after seeing a lot of rocks there for a couple of minutes. Not too much left. Dexter with hammer in the first end, winning the draw to the button. Every game starts, the teams select somebody from the team to go do the draw to the button. And the team getting closest gets last rock advantage in the first end.
And of course, for your first 4 games, you have to select a different player each time. I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. In this event, in this event with 7 teams, nobody can throw the draw to the button more than twice. And you can actually, it's not actually that way, Pam. It's not actually the first 4 games you have to have a different player.
Okay.
But so you can have, for example, on this team, Mark could throw the first 2 games, the 2 draws to the button.
Okay.
And then he's done, though, for the week. And
right.
then somebody else could do 2. So
right, where you have a full round robin, that makes total sense.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how most teams decide to do it. It's probably a little bit of a mix of both.
Well, they know their draw ahead of time, so maybe they pick according to where they think it's more important.
Oh, that's quite possible.
Reliability.
We're at that point in the week, too, where the top seeds really start to play each other much more often. We look beside our game here on Sheet 3. On Sheet 2, Stuart Thompson, who went down to defeat for the first time yesterday to Robert Mayhew, is playing Jamie Murphy.
So they would have come in position 1 and 2, correct?
Chad, actually, Stuart and Chad came in 1-2.
Okay.
They had the bye through the qualifier, didn't play in the qualifier. But Jamie, defending champion, it wasn't a lot to pick in that second place spot. So it's going to be a good game over there. Both teams sitting at 2-1. This game would go quite a ways to making their playoff hopes that much better.
So Team Dexter has got a corner guard and a nice shot tucked in around there on the 12-foot, maybe just biting the 8.
Yeah, very nice shot. So Chad's team here with Cameron MacKenzie will be throwing a run back, hoping to make both rocks go away. The out turn, we did the sheet last night, or I did the sheet last night at least, and this spot will curl.
Ooh.
Get it out, I don't think.
Close. Full 12-foot over there.
Yeah, really nice effort. Problem is now you are looking at giving up your 2 in the first end. But a really good throw. It does curl on that out turn. The girls' game last night, the ladies' game last night with Mary Matatall and Christy Gamble here, they had, between the 2 teams, 4 or 5 misses on that out turn down there. Wow. It just over curled every time.
Yeah. So it looks like we're going to tuck another one in behind the guard there. They're Stevens' shot rock, or the rock they threw, stuck around. So we have something to hide around for Dexter.
Yeah, if you make a good shot here, you might force Chad just basically hit number 2 a couple times and give you your easy deuce. Go a little deep or leave it open a little bit, not so much, but.
Wow, there really is lots of curl on the ice there. That's great.
Yeah, it's great sheet ice. They're all good sheet ice, but this one particularly, like a nice sheet last night. The game was really, really good.
Perfect spot.
Once they decided to play, yeah, perfect shot. You're right. Chad's going to hit the back one. He can probably get shot rock on this one.
Yeah, if he gets a little rolled in.
Yeah, he hasn't got much to. You're just kind of grasping a little bit here. You hit it, roll in a little bit, maybe get shot or get close to being shot. Have Paul hit it and then hope that Paul rolls out on his last one. Really is about all you're doing here.
So here we go with Chad coming out with his shot now. Guys are working it really hard. That looks good.
Yeah, very nice throw. Rooms are so strong in this event. I'm just really impressed with the sweeping quality here, and it's almost, I think it's got to be hard when you're in the house with sweepers like that, calling them on and then I think you can get mesmerized almost and forget to call them off sometimes.
For sure.
So only 3 draws today here at the men's and women's championships. The Nova Scotia Scotties ladies go on at 2 o'clock today. And then the men are back on at 7 o'clock this evening for their second draw of the day. 4 draws tomorrow, and that winds up the round robin.
So it looks like the Dexter rink is going to do a draw rather than take out that shot. Where they're sitting shot, yellow is still shot. So where Chad didn't get the roll, he's going for the draw.
That's the other noticeable thing about the Dexter team. They don't run and hide a lot. They do play pretty hard. Yesterday's game they played over on sheet 5. There was a ton of rocks in play. We didn't see a whole lot of it, but there were lots of rocks. I don't know exactly where he was trying to get this one. I assumed he was trying to get it way over by the blue stone.
I assumed that as well. But we're not seeing quite as much curl on that direction, maybe. Yeah, they're flat anyway.
Yeah, it does the job. I'm not sure exactly what he was thinking there. I don't know if he was thinking about, trying to make Chad have to deal with a possible jam there to make the roll, or.
If Chad gets where it's close to the corner guard and the yellow that they had in there in the first place, if Chad gets a nice roll, it could present a little difficulty for
Yeah, I just don't know if he can go for it, can he? Because if he ever jams it and doesn't bury the roll, then he's in big trouble.
Yeah.
So I think he'll probably try to hit it just off nose and more or less sit right there and make Paul decide how he wants to try to get his two. He might make his two a little tough. If he can hit it on the nose or just a little tiny bit to the right as we look at it on the screen, but not far, it might be difficult for Paul to hit it and get second shot without rolling.
Right.
In-turn hit for Chad Stevens. I wish our junior teams well. Both teams made it to the championship round at the Canadian Junior.
Yes, that was really exciting for both teams, I think. I'm anxious to see how it turns out for them today.
Yeah, well, they're in the hunt. You have to be in that top side to have a chance of making the playoff round, and they have a chance, so.
Yep.
This one's curling hard. This could come pretty close to missing it.
Here it comes.
He's got a piece, but he got away with it.
He just skinnied the jam as well. That was good.
Thought he was in trouble there. So Paul will take the same path. A good idea when you're playing, for those that are out there, especially in club ice, it hasn't been nipped and dragged and all that kind of stuff. If you have the opportunity to throw your second draw in the very same spot you threw your first draw, it's a good idea. You know the speed, you know the path, you know all of that. So sometimes people would switch up here and throw the in-turn just because it looks like, well, you should draw to the middle of the sheet, but isn't always the best option.
And you don't need the middle, you just need 8 foot.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was an interesting choice for Paul on his first shot to play the draw. I wonder if he wanted to make sure he established his draw weight early in the game to build some confidence there.
Yeah, maybe so, because he was behind the guard really well, so if he ever missed the draw, he still might end up getting his two. So that's a possibility. It was just an odd spot to throw it to. That was the part that baffled me a little bit. I didn't really understand exactly where he wanted it to end up.
These guys don't need to sweep this.
I think
wonder if he's a little.
Okay. MacKenzie goes out to try to help it a little bit.
Going to get that out.
He might go too far. He does.
The force of 1 in the first end.
So disappointing miss for Paul Dexter. And a big break for Chad Stevens and his team. So 1-0 lead for Dexter after 1 here at the Deloitte Tankard at the Mayflower Curling Club. Where you can come and watch curling for the rest of the week, right through the weekend. Semifinals and finals are on the weekend. Semifinal Saturday, I think, and the finals on Sunday. Should be a great finish to this event. And if you're not able to make it down, we've got all the coverage here on Bell TV1. Every draw, 2 games every draw, including semifinals and tiebreakers if necessary, and the finals as well. Lots of curling. Good people at Bell TV1 and 45 North bringing you the games. All throwing up the guard.
One of the best places, I think, to sit, certainly for the semifinal final games, I think, is out on the ice, where we have the extra seats out there. You get to really join in the excitement because you hear so much commentary from the ice surface itself.
Yeah, you could hear every bit of it. Certainly, it was for sure on those first couple sheets, and it's not that cold out there. You have to wear a winter coat, obviously, but it's not freezing cold because the ice makers usually like to keep the ice shed reasonable temperature. A little bit of heat's a good thing for them. They don't want it too warm, but they do like to heat it up. When we used to host the Sobe Slam in New Glasgow a few years ago, we used to bring in heaters, and the ice makers would have the whole arena warmed right up. You go in there with a T-shirt on and not be cold.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Great for the
us
officials.
Fortune, but
yes.
It was good.
Yeah.
We went through I don't know how much propane. It's unreal.
Yeah, making ice and heating the air, it's kind of a contradictory thought.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So this guard is sort of halfway, maybe even a little high.
Lead Kelly Mittelstadt for Chad Stevens' team. Kelly doesn't miss very many.
Yeah, it looks good.
This is maybe a shot a day. That's about it. He throws it really nice home. Been a lifelong lead, as we mentioned the other day when we did Chad's game.
It's a great sweeper, too.
Awesome sweeper, yeah. Interestingly enough, too, I think Kelly works for maybe the University of Alberta. Something like that, if I recall.
It says here that he's a lawyer with Burchell McDougall.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know where that office is located.
Halifax or Toronto or something, so that's fine. I thought he was working for one of the universities out west at one time. Still living here, but working there, but obviously not. So, a little deep for the Dexter team. That's a nice aggressive call. Just went a little bit further back than he would have liked to have seen.
Yeah, that would be almost fully exposed back there as well.
Yeah, it would be for sure. This one's hanging out a little bit.
Oh, it's starting to go sideways there now.
Fans getting rowdy up here.
We're looking to put one right in on top of that last shot.
Yeah, pretty good shot. I thought it was going to go, maybe stay out a little bit more open and maybe go a little further, but ended up in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it seemed to really hang out there, but when it curled, wow, it just went.
In a perfect world, that rock would probably be about 1.5 feet shorter, and that would have been really good. But you can see here with Paul, he doesn't fool around. He just says, okay, well, let's go. It's going to be a fun game to watch for us and all you viewers out there. TV1. We also have the second game being streamed this morning with McDougall and Fleming and Brett McDougall. We'll give you the updates on these games here in a minute. This one's going to a stop. Will it need to curl a little more? Dexter could be in a little trouble here, I think, if Chad's team can make a little hit and flop, man.
Yes, I think so. Ice seems nice and quick this morning. It looks like about 14.5 hog to hog for a draw.
Yeah, it's been pretty consistent. I talked with my sister a little bit yesterday, and they had one game they thought that the speed was a little different, but generally it's been pretty darn consistent. So while we're waiting here, we've got on sheet 2 Stuart Thompson and Jamie Murphy, as we mentioned. Jamie picking up 2 in the first stand. It looks like he might have stolen the 2 in the first stand, actually, judging by the little hammer at the end of the scoreboard, if that's correct. And on sheet 3, McDougall with hammer blank the first stand. And on sheet 4, I guess that is, sheet 5, Robert Mayhew had 2 wins yesterday. He played 2 of the top teams and picked up wins in both games. And he's taking on Kendall Thompson, who's really struggled. Kendall had a tough game yesterday and looking to get on track. He himself, I thought, had a good game yesterday. And just a little bit of bad luck, but his team just has to play better for him to have an opportunity. Mayhew leads that one 1-0 early after one end. So it looks like a great shot here.
Sure does. Nice little tap, building a nest at the back there to prevent rollouts.
Yeah, that's a perfect shot. Dexter's in a little trouble now.
Yeah. Stevens has last rock as well.
Yeah, Nice thing for these guys that we don't have in our sort of level of teams is that they've got this shot, they've got this run back. They don't make it every time, but they have the ability to throw it. And, they can move a lot of rocks with one shot. For us, that's about that's a process. We need to have like a half a day to get rid of all those rocks.
That moves a few things around.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So you can see it's still not perfect, but it's far better. And just that being able to throw it that hard is such an advantage. And most of the teams have that. There's not probably anybody out here that doesn't have a front end particularly, and maybe even a third that can throw it that hard.
And it's, it really does affect the strategy. I mean, I work mainly with juniors, and so, you would never recommend them probably to even try something like that. Certainly the younger juniors.
Now, when you're working with juniors, and I'm not talking about the 8 or 9 year olds, but as they get a little bit older, do you actually now work on that sort of shot, though? Work on at least the concept of being able to drive out of the hack that hard?
We do. I mean, and it's not certainly the boys teams that I work with, and even our mixed team that are in that 16-year-old range. They have the ability to get at least maybe 8.5, 9 seconds with fairly good accuracy once they've got a solid slide. Yeah. So we do start working on that and on the tick shots, because if you don't practice them, you're never going to make anything of it in a game. I think the key is, because I went a lot of years, now I can't throw it hard again, but I went through a lot of years in my curling career where I couldn't throw it very hard. And I really believe, and I never really thought of it through there, but I think it's just a confidence factor of being able to drive it to the hack and not having a fear of doing that, and not having a fear of falling or something like that. And then when I actually got a little older and I was able to do that for a few years, throw it much harder. And I really think that's all it is. And I think the kids, it's a nice time to learn those shots, because the kids don't have any fear. Right. They don't really understand the concept that you go flat in your face if you happen to not get your foot down the right place. Well, we'd end up at the chiropractor. They just get right back up. Oh, yeah. So Mark Robar moves the high one. Steven's still in pretty good shape here to maybe get a 2. There are a few yellow ones kind of starting to circle around a little bit, but they shouldn't cause too much trouble. I find the main risk with the juniors learning those heavier shots is that they like the big bang and the lots of movement, and then suddenly they always want to play that shot and they get rollouts. They won't play a quieter hit, and so you really have to make sure you're tempering the instruction. It's a little bit like hitting the 300-yard drive, or thinking you can when you're a kid. And most of the kids come up and down in golf, and they can all hit it a mile. Like, they're not always the straightest, but they can hit it a mile. And most of the time, that's mainly what they care about. Yeah, exactly. Is hitting it the long ways. Yeah. So a nice shot there. Steven's team playing a nice end here. I think, though, that blue that they just put in there looks like it's probably at least half or 3/4 exposed for a nudge here. Yeah, it is, but you're going to have to, he's called something, looks like bumper weight, hack weight now, so not very heavy. But he has to do that to get that inside roll. The problem with it is you might not get rid of any rocks. Yeah, exactly. You hope you know the ice real well, too, because you get a little surprise extra curl and it's a kiss on the guard. Yeah, that's true, too. Working it now. Oh, he's getting really close to the guard. No, he's okay. They're on and off. It looks good. Yeah, he needs to curl a little more to get to where he really wants to be. Yeah, that's not a bad result. Yeah, nice throw by Robar. It's certainly got a little bit of an inside roll. Chad sitting 1. The Yellowstone's number 2. And the blue back number 3. So he'll play a corner freeze on the yellow one, hoping to have an opportunity after to maybe hit the blue one that he's going to throw and take that yellow one out. That'll sort of be the game plan. Has to curl and has to slow down a little bit. Has to slow down, I think, as well. It's coming in now. This could be really good. Just needs to curl another 1.5 feet.
That's perfect. Excellent shot.
So what does that really leave for Paul Dexter?
Yeah, Paul's in trouble. Unless he sees something that's something that I'm not seeing yet. We say he's in trouble. He's number 2, so as long as he can make sure he doesn't allow Chad to make that little angle slash or whatever, then he'll be okay, but that's not going to be that easy to defend against. Looking at tapping his own up, maybe playing the in-turn. If you were desperate, you could play the angle raise on your own onto your other one and onto the blue one, but it's a little bit early and a little bit risky right now to do that.
Yeah, if he would ever get rid of that, Stevens would ever get rid of that yellow rock there, biting the forefoot, it could be a big end.
Yeah. Yeah. Saw you grimacing a little when you were saying that, so I knew it couldn't have been a good thing.
Exactly. So what's the call here, do you think?
I think he's playing just a little draw through the hole.
Yep.
Tap his own up a little bit, get another rock in play there. If he can tap this just to on top of his own, you know, and in line with that other blue one, I think it's there for the rest of the end. So Chad would have to make a really, really good draw to score. To score 2, rather.
Yes, yeah.
Guys are working hard on this one.
Oh boy, is it ever going.
I think they're going to get it by.
No.
He opened it up, which wouldn't maybe
That's not
sometimes
bad.
be a good thing for the team without Hammer, but I think that's good. It's certainly accessible now. Chad has to worry about it. He can't really do much about it. He can't really, it's not like he can go down there and blast it out of there.
No.
And not only that, the yellow guard that he ticked
Is,
ended up perfect guard on the one that Chad could have raised.
yeah.
So,
That's not a terrible
no, it's
result.
probably one of those 0 on the scorecard that really is about a 3 out of 4. That's why whenever I do that statistics stuff, I'm not the best at it. I sort of look at it as a subjective process, and I don't know that you're supposed to do that.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. It is. I have a program that I often use so that I mainly use it to chart the game to help me review it with the skips later.
Yeah.
And it will automatically choose percentages.
Yeah.
But my God, it's harsh.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. You're 2 rock widths away and suddenly you get a 0.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So you just actually move the rock to this position or something?
Well,
Is that what you do?
yeah, you put the broom down and then the final
Yeah.
resting place.
Yeah.
And it's really great because
Yeah.
you can replay it, the game, as if it's
Yeah.
almost like on film afterwards.
So do you holler at it sometime? I think if it was gonna depict the percentage, I'd be like, "Ah, come on!
Well-
Like it can't be that. Wasn't that bad?"
That's right. I can override it. It's just a
Okay.
matter of I either have to do it consistently, override every shot,
Yeah.
right, or I have to let it do its own thing and
Yeah.
just from a
Well, statistics, we always say, statistics are really just a guide anyways, but they do, they have merit. There's no question about that. People say, well, statistics are for losers and all that. Well, I'll tell you what, if you can show that your team's only playing at 68% every game, then it's a pretty good explanation of why they're not winning what they need to win. So
right, or if it's even better than that, the 68% is one thing, but if it's, gee whiz, you missed every out turn because you were wide today, that would be sort of even a finer point that gives the coach something to work with.
You might let him play the slash on the one you're throwing. I think this ideal spot for this would probably be way out there by those other ones, by that yellow and the blue that are out in front of the house there, halfway to the hog line.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to give them anything that'll help, that's for sure.
Stuart Thompson in a world of hurt here on sheet 1, but made a shot to get out of it and
Ooh.
almost made a spectacular shot. Looking at 4 on his last shot and played a little double slide the rock through kind of shot. We'd have to show it to you rather than try to explain it,
But it was a rocket.
yeah, he threw it hard and
It was
he came
great.
within a couple of inches of making it. Got rid of everything but 1. So Jamie Murphy takes a 3-0 lead after 2 there. We saw yesterday, Murphy's not a team you want to get too far behind, so Stewart probably needs to get his 2 back here pretty soon. This shot is not a very good one, but He's got no handle on it, basically. It's
Oh, the
going
handle is actually
sideways,
changed, yeah.
But he might get lucky because I think he may have taken the draw away with that shot. So Dexter's a couple of not great shots in this end. Both of them worked out maybe not so bad. That one might have slid too far. Do you think he can get through that hole, Pam, on the outturn draw?
I think if he gets through that hole, I would think that he's going to crash in on the blues that are already there, just because of how quickly it breaks after the hog line.
Yeah. And you see Chad tapping there. I just don't know if that shot's there. I don't know if you can throw it hard enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
To tap the blue onto the yellow one and move the yellow one. You've got to move that yellow one 4 feet, 3 to 4 feet to have any chance of it. But I think Chad's thinking really is that the draw is really, really hard, and this is really, really hard. And if I'm going to do really, really hard, I might as well do it for 3.
Yes, exactly.
So.
And there's really nothing to lose. He can't make it worse by doing this.
Yeah,
so.
good point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely worth a go. I think it's going to be a...
I bet he can't even see a bit of that blue from the other end, so he's just got to trust the broom and throw the rock. And
yeah, I think you're right about that for sure. Might actually need a touch more ice. I'm not sure. He's throwing just backline or board weight, I guess he's throwing. It's probably a little more than I would have thought.
And he's got to move 2 rocks. That's a tough shot.
Yeah, you have to have at least hack weight to make this shot. And you got to throw it light enough that it will have a chance to curl. So it's on its way anyways. Got lots of weight, or enough weight. It's going to have to just barely get by the guard.
Guys are sweeping.
Really, really close. Really close.
Hold off. Looks like we have a blue to yellow.
That is a dandy shot.
Woo!
That's a great shot by Chad Stevens. I think he only got 2, but that's still a terrific shot. They'll have a look at the other 2 and see what they look like.
I think they're looking for a measurement, actually.
Yeah, Cameron hasn't even looked at it yet, so now he's going to have a look. Oh, there's another one back there. Forgot about that one. So if this was your favorite detective show on TV or something, this would be when you go to commercial.
Exactly.
Build up the suspense of who shot, and then fade away into the commercial.
Exactly. Well, we can update. I think we already did the updates after the second end, didn't we?
No, go ahead. We certainly didn't update game in sheet 5.
No, that's right. It looks like Kendall Thompson is up 3-1 over Robert Mayhew after 2 ends, and they're into their 3rd end there now.
Kendall's 0-3 right now. He really needs to have a win just for morale, if nothing else.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And I think they've got a different lineup than they had all year because I think one of their players is off making ice in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, that's where it is. I couldn't remember where he was. I talked to him about it, but I tell you, they do have the problem with that is that Jamie Danbrook is normally their 4th player, and last year he was the skip of the team. Mm-hmm. This year I think he knew he was going to be away, so he ended up not skipping. Kendall skipped, but from what I gather. And then, so they picked up a spare. They picked up a good player, Luke Saunders, great player by the look of it. I have never really watched him play yesterday. And yesterday they got down in that game, but Luke made about 10 corner guards perfect in a row. Threw it really, really well. And looks to be a really good sweeper too. So certainly, good quality player. But it's still tough when you play all year with one squad and you have to replace somebody.
You don't know the chemistry quite as well, or there's.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
So we don't know yet how many they got. Chad's going right to the top of the 4-foot, which doesn't tell us too much. But if anything, I would say it might lean a little bit towards having 3 there. He might still go in the house with just a 1-point lead.
Yeah, they weren't. They didn't do a big demonstration as to who got the rock. You normally see the official push the shot rock to center, right?
Yeah. In this case, they're allowing the teams to do their own measuring.
Just for expediency, is that the idea?
I think so. Yeah. Kelly throws it into the top of the 8-foot.
Pretty close to where he wanted it.
Yeah, a couple of feet further, but that's good. I think Oh, just a 2.
Looks like we're getting a corner guard here from the lead on Paul Dexter's team.
Yeah, as I said, Paul's team, very aggressive team. They don't just go up and down the sheet, that's for sure. So Stevens only picked up 2 in the second end, so he's 2-point lead, or 2-1 lead rather, after 2 ends. Corner guard up by the lead, Mr. Ardiel. What was his first name again, Pat?
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah,
Ardiel.
he's the ice maker at the Dartmouth Curling Club, actually.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Works with Tracy Froud, probably. Is Tracy the? I think Tracy makes ice, doesn't he, over there?
You're asking me something I don't know the answer to. Sorry. I just see that it was here.
Okay. Dartmouth's hosting the senior men's and women's this year.
Oh, nice.
That's coming up in not very long. Everything is not very long now. Probably 3 weeks or so.
Yes, it's a provincial spiel season for sure, in the junior circuit as well. Very busy time of year.
So another, he just threw a guard on the one he threw. Nice shot for Kelly Mittelstadt. Lined it up perfect. That's how you like to have it, dead straight. Paul electing to ignore these again and go around the corner guard. I love it. It's nice to have teams playing this way.
And it was only 2 points in the last end, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes it a closer game for sure.
It does.
What a great shot tucked in there. I was just looking here on the program for the event, and it looks like a lot of the teams had their sponsors come out and throw a little extra into the pot this year. We've got quite a list of team sponsors as well as just regular event sponsors.
Yeah, it was great. They, maybe we can give you some of those in a few minutes. They were, that was something that came up. I don't know when the committee thought of that. Somebody thought of it with maybe a month ago or 5 weeks ago or so, and thought, well, why don't we see what the response will be? And it was very good. So I think they put $250 a piece. So I think they got a couple $1,000s from that, somewhere around there.
That's great.
It's certainly helpful. It's, when you look around the stadium here, you see, drapery and bleachers and signage, and you have to bring in an ice maker from outside of the province, and they're not volunteers either, so they need to be paid, and it's just a lot of money to put this event on and to do it up right. And Mayflower's done a great job with it, so we're very thankful to have the regular sponsors and the team sponsors step up and help out this week. Most of the team sponsors are related to somebody that's on a team, naturally. Like somebody works with whichever company. And
say Matitol Signs might be from Mary Matitol's family?
I'm thinking probably, yeah.
Just a guess.
Got to be a connection anyway. And I'm not even actually sure what the connection is, but I'm sure
I don't know either.
It's there. But you've got a lot of these people that'll be working, obviously with Jamie Murphy's team, and they have Lindsay Construction, and Scott works for Lindsay, and I'm sure you go across the board and you'd find there's connection. And it was a reasonable amount of money, so you weren't asking for the world when you approach your team sponsor for a few dollars to help out the event. So that's great. Back to the action a little bit here. Chad's looking pretty good here, and Paul was trying to get something behind the corner, still trying to get something behind the corner, but...
Well, they made a beautiful shot. They had a rock behind the corner, and then they hit and rolled right behind their little lineup there. It was just great.
So he changed his mind here, and I think this is wise. He was looking at playing an out-turn hit and roll behind the corner, but there's not much you can see there, and he's chosen now to play the run back, try to get rid of a couple that way. I think that's a much wiser call at this point. Doesn't make it, unfortunately, but...
Looks like Chad's going right to the cover again. Garrett out in front, I think.
Yeah, it's got a really good situation here right now, so just keep throwing the guard. Try to probably be fairly tight. You don't want to get too tight. You'd like the run back to be difficult, but you also don't want to be just barely over the hog line.
No, that's it.
I'll try to go hard and finish this one. Needs to curl a little bit more yet.
Sure does.
And pretty good, I think. Not perfect, but pretty good. Maybe enough though that let Paul try the hit and roll this time.
The two in the house are pretty close, I think.
Yeah, they are fairly close together. A couple feet.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks kind of open here on our screen. I think third of a rock, maybe. Maybe.
That he can see?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see a third for sure, maybe even a half. He's going to play the high one now, the one in behind, and try to roll it behind that guard, corner guard. Key here is to come up with the exact right weight. Going really hard.
He's yelling for them.
It's really close to the guard.
Oh, he's got by.
Wow. That's a great shot.
It sure is.
You get it out. It would be helpful if you got it out.
They still got a biter in the back there.
Still a good shot. Loosen that up pretty good, and now no matter what, Chad hits this one and stays right there. You can throw the intern around and make a little roll and be in pretty good shape. This one has to curl. He doesn't want to jam this. I think he's going to be fine.
Yep, sure looks good from here. Right out the back door. Didn't touch his biter on the back. Good shot.
So Steven's sitting 3, but still not a real bad situation for Dexter. He's got a little bit of shrapnel to work with down there, so he's play a little intern hit and flop and force Chad to do something tougher.
The black gloves and the black jacket make it hard to see the weight calls on the hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man in black.
This is Mark Robar's second, isn't it? Yep. Sweepers are just tickling it there. Yep, there they go.
They might have lost this one. Nope, got it by. Yeah, they partially lost it, I guess. It probably just a little bit lighter maybe than they thought. Not a bad shot, but certainly 3/4 open, or 2/3 open at least.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of blue in play out there.
Yeah.
If you're the
Might
Dexter
be a
one.
better shot to play the top one, you know. It's a little harder, but
Just to tap it back and poke the yellow
yeah,
out?
poke the yellow one out. Yeah, just not throw it over. Don't overthrow it. But if you make it, you're going to have yours in there probably buried or almost buried.
Yeah, and I think the yellow would scoot right out there, wouldn't even bump into the biter on the back.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Looks further apart this way, though. You've got a full 6 foot.
Yeah, we're not going to look on there.
From the up here in the bird's eye view, or the,
We need a smaller monitor. I like this size monitor, but if it's a smaller monitor, everything would look a little closer. It would be an easier shot.
Yes, exactly. I think he's going after shot rock there.
Yep. Jeez, he's much of these games on Bell Alliance TV1. I'm thrilled to bring them to you. Welcome everybody to come down to the Mayflower on Monaghan Drive and take in some action. $10 gets you in the door and spend the whole day here if you like. Watching curling. Great place to come and get a bite to eat as well. If you happen to be here and taking in the game and you want to have a little bite, John and his staff have awesome food. So and if you're thinking you ever want to try curling or learn a little bit about it, I'm sure there's somebody around, Pam, that can give you that information here.
I think there is.
As well.
We have some folks at the front desk that'll be full of good information.
Yeah.
I see we have a Learn to Curl program actually starting on February 5th.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so that'll be a 7-week program on Sundays from 3 to 5 p.m. So if you are interested in learning, there's your place to do it.
That's perfect. If I wasn't going to be in Miami, I might take that up.
I think you could give the program rather than take it.
Yeah, the worst part is now I kind of have to give the program because I'm just not good enough to play anymore. Okay. So interesting call here for the Stevens team. They're already sitting 2. don't see any benefit in playing that front one. Get an out-turn draw around the high guard. As I've said a few times, this out-turn out here does curl, hooks pretty hard, but it will stay out there for quite a while. Hammer's looking at something, I have no idea what. Might be just trying to make sure that he knows where everything is, so he doesn't set up any kind of a double that could be for 2 for Dexter. I thought Stevens was sitting 2, but he's not. He's just sitting 1, and then Dexter is number 2. That changes it a little bit. Changes the thought process at least a little bit.
Yes, he really would like to get in here and be buried.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because the shot rock is wide open over there.
Yeah, he has to make this one. Absolutely has to make this one. Definitely have to be number 2 for starters, and in the house buried would be perfect. This will curl hard. Those are going pretty hard. This could be a great shot.
How's the weight look?
He looks pretty darn good. What a beauty.
Sitting on the lid. Lovely shot.
So Chad's come to play today after getting beat up a couple times yesterday. Has kind of turned it up a notch here today. That's a heck of a shot. That's a really, really good shot.
And
great ice call. Perfect.
Yeah, the yellow rock that the Dexter team threw on the last shot is really hampering their ability here, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a hard one. They were pounding that when it still looked like it had about 2 feet of clearance with the guard, but they knew it would curl and just had to trust it. And
it looks like they're discussing some angles down there, trying to figure out a way to get 2 out of this end. Or at least not give up any.
Yeah, I think he's trying to decide, what do we play here? So he's going to play a draw, basically. I don't know if he can have get Sean to give us the overhead here in a second. Just see. Thanks, Sean. He might be able to move that back. He doesn't have to move it very far. But, man, the rock's got to be going sideways when it gets there. So
it does indeed, and he's got, I want to say, is that a little more ice than?
It is. That's quite a bit more ice than Chad had. That's probably 6-7 inches more than Chad. Paul might be a little lazier on the release. I don't know.
He might have a lazier handle or something now.
Yeah, so if he can bump it a foot, basically the width of the rock, he can possibly score here. I think he won't be happy giving up one, but he might have to be okay with giving up one because it's pretty tough. We'll see how he gets along. Well, he's got decent handle on that, so that should be.
It's really a balance between the weight and the ice.
You're right. This will go here, right here, but it might be that little extra ice might have killed him.
Oh, it's diving over. But he's.
Very nice try, and I think you picked up on that, Pam. I really think the difference in that shot really was that 6-8 inches ice.
Yeah. I almost think he might have needed just a tad more weight and a little less ice.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. It was pretty hard, no matter what,
That was really
though.
tough, yeah. The last thing you wanted to do, no matter what, was knock in another one of his for 2, so not a bad result.
Yeah, Chad Stevens steals another one, goes up 3-1 in what has become pretty much a must-win for Stevens, and for a couple of reasons. You'd like to get a W, you'd like to get back to 2-2, but you'd really like to bring Paul down from the roll he's on and winning 3 in a row, and yeah. But both teams playing pretty well right now, so lots of ends left. We're only in the 4th end, and it's a long way from having this locked up. 3-1 leads, not.
Yeah, it's so early in the game.
Yeah, really early in the game, yeah. And we've seen that they sure don't mind putting rocks in play, and Chad, for the most part, doesn't mind that too much either, I think, from what I've seen of Chad over the years, but I don't think he'll go into playing defense yet.
No, I wouldn't think.
a little bit early. It's a pretty good shot.
It looks like right where the skipper ordered.
So if you're a curling fan, you've got it basically perfect this week. You get to watch the Tankard on Bell Line TV1 and the Scotties, and then next week you can watch the big Skins game from out west. They're playing for the big dollars. That'll be fun. Not too long after that, the Scotties will be starting.
What is the date for that this year?
It's a good, excellent question. I don't know that I know the answer. I asked the same question last night. You got it?
Oh.
I don't know. I'm not going to guess at it. You'll look it up.
I'll look it up. Google is going to be right.
Yeah. They're one of our short-term sponsors here, giving us information.
2017.
Not really, but... Chad throwing a guard on this. Kelly threw the first one top four. So much easier game when your lead's making all the right shots.
Oh, absolutely.
It really is.
Yeah, it's in St. Catharines, Ontario on February 18th to the 26th.
Yeah, so not a long time, but 3.5 weeks, I guess, from now would be when it starts. And
yeah, that's not a lot of time to prepare.
No. I think the good news is almost everybody that plays in this event has been there before, so they're not going to be totally uncomfortable. When you look at the lineup, you say, well, Jill was there last year. Marianne's been there 100 times. Teresa Breen has been there herself. I'm not sure any of the rest of her team have, but we used to live in Ontario back in the day and played with Ann Merklinger for a lot of years, and they did go to the Scotties on, I think, probably more than one occasion.
Yes, I think so.
You know, Mary's been there before as well, and Mark's been there before with that team. So it's a lot of experience. They're not a brand new team that's going to be, doesn't mean one of them is going to win, but regardless, most of the teams have at least some experience with that level of an event on the team.
And that was a decent shot by the Dexter team there. Loosened up the nice tight set of blue stones in the front of the house.
Yeah. A little bit like a nose hit here.
Yep, right on the button. The fourth ends are wrapping up on a couple of other sheets over here. Looks like Robert Mayhew got in for a point there. Looks like
nice draw. He looked like he was looking at three maybe there on that shot.
Yes, he was throwing against three. Got his point. So
nice draw.
That brings the game closer, 3-2 for Kendall Thompson.
They should be feeling good. They well deserved their 2 wins yesterday and played very, very well. That second game they played super well.
I think that yellow maybe rolled a bit more than they would have liked on our sheet here.
Yeah. Yeah, at least it makes Chad play it, which leaves the corner guard, which is good for Paul Dexter's team. That was almost a great shot over on G1.
Mm-hmm. Looks like they're having a really great game over there. Nice shots in play.
Oh,
nice
really
little
nice
roll.
Beauty shot.
Mm-hmm.
Who threw that? Ian Juurlink threw that. He's another good player. Not a bad spot, though, for Dexter's team. He's got a corner guard to work with. Got a couple of rocks back there that he can use as backing if he comes to them. So not a bad position at all. Brophy delivering the in-turn draw. Brophy had a pretty good career as a junior skip, I think, back a few years ago.
Who's this, Michael Brophy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a little tiny bit heavy. Yeah, probably 2 feet too heavy. Just kind of rubbed and rolled off to to be pretty much wide open for Chad, Stevens' team. He's going to hit it there, probably lose his back one. That's probably a good call.
So which way did he want to roll in the end? He kind of went one way and then the other.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I kind of like the roll to the left.
To our left?
Yes.
Behind the corner there?
Yeah, just because then you get such a big pile of granite, it's going to be hard to, especially behind guard, it'll be tough to remove.
Yeah. But I think the thing you have to think here, though, Pam, is for Stevens, it's all defense right now, right? So
True.
You're not really, the numbers are not really the problem. You're really just trying to force Paul to have to take one. And if you roll behind the guard, you just make that pocket that much better. So
True.
You can't. He won't be able to remove yours, but I don't think he cares.
Right.
But he is playing a little bit of a hit here. I didn't expect that he would play a hit.
This is Mark Brophy's first rock, I think.
Yeah.
And Mark Robar, sorry.
Yeah, Mark Robar. That's okay. This one's curling pretty hard. He'd be better off missing this one, to be honest, but that's not going to happen.
It doesn't help an awful lot, does it?
No. No, it doesn't do too much for him. Actually, it doesn't really do anything at all.
A nice shot here is going to really make it tough for Paul Dexter to score too, I think.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think, where's he going here? Just top 8 foot, basically? Top 8 foot partially around the yellow guard, the high guard, the corner guard.
Could be.
Looks a little bit deep, maybe. Well, they're really going. I don't know if maybe they were trying to go a little differently than I thought. It must be more or less where he wanted it. They were sweeping it pretty hard. I'm not sure exactly why. Could actually make the triple here if you wanted to take a run at it.
Yeah, it is open. There's no...
Jamie Murphy just made an angle race takeout against Stuart Thompson for 3 in the 4th end, taking commanding 6-1 lead over there. Nice shot by Jamie, but get the little over curl here, maybe be able to make the double. No, not quite, but a good shot. Still, the bad part is he's still number 3. He doesn't even have number 2 yet, but
that's right.
It's still a good shot.
I think they're discussing removing that rock, just deciding which angle and
that rock in that position. So,
we'll see where this lands.
yeah, I think he's calling it just, I'm not sure, top 4 foot maybe?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where a good place to put this one is, to be honest. It's, I think even just that little corner freeze on the yellow is probably good too.
Yeah, even because they really want to prevent him from using that yellow, I guess. Yeah.
Top 4 we're here. Well, I'm thinking that's pretty good. I'm just not 100% sure. You have to be able to think about the ability to throw shots that you can't play yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But like I just can't throw like a hard one, so I have a hard time figuring out sometimes. Well, is that the right shot here? Because it just would never be a shot you'd call. So, a little tough. Certainly can get rid of 2 of the blues with this shot by raising the yellow, hitting the yellow hard. Get rid of 2 of the blues by playing the straight double as well. It's just your shooter's probably going to roll out.
Whereas if you use the yellow, you might.
Yeah, you might save all of them.
You might.
The only thing I guess would be that. I don't know if the yellow. I guess you get rid of 2 of the blue. You get rid of 2 different blues. If you play the yellow, you're going to get rid of probably the one in the 4-foot and the one in the 8-foot, like straight back. You know what I mean? And then if you don't use that one, then you're probably getting rid of the other 2, the 2 that are both basically pretty close to the button. Both not easy shots, but makeable. I think this is probably the little bit easier of the 2 shots, to be honest. I think there's a couple of options here that could work. I think Chad Stevens will still be sitting shot rock when this is all done. He almost has to be. Actually, definitely will be. There's no way that they can get them all out or move the right ones.
I see over there on sheet 4, it looks like Mike Fleming is on the board. So Brent McDougall and Mike Fleming are tied at 1 apiece after 4 ends.
That's a tight game, too.
Couple of blank ends there.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed that one much. I don't know if they don't have a lot of rocks in play, or if just sometimes you can have lots of rocks in play and it just works out that way.
There we go.
So as suspected, Chad's sitting 1, but I'll tell you what, it's getting a little bit dicey.
It's a lot of yellow in play. How quickly it changes, eh?
It does. It really does. Now you got to be careful. Now if you ever try a hit and roll out or something like that, you could easily give up 3. So Chad Stevens taking a timeout here in the 4th end. Pretty early to use a timeout, but probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea to have everybody seeing where the rocks are so they're on board before the throw, that's for sure.
The one thing about it, with Chad having a 3-1 lead, you know, you could take the attitude, well, let's hit the yellow one. We're going to get rid of 2, and we'll give him his 2. You know, assuming that would be, these guys throw it so hard, so straight, that would be a good idea. Just say, well, let's do that. Because if you do anything else and you ever make a little mistake, you could give up a whole bunch.
Exactly.
I think the in-turn draw, basically right there, is perfect. Unless it's in the wrong spot, and then he makes that little slash. Well, that slash is tough. Lots of options here.
Yes, I guess the big question is, do you want to eliminate, or do you want to...
Yeah. I personally like the idea of getting rid of a couple of more rocks.
Feels safer to me.
Yeah.
Especially where they have the ability to throw that, you know, rocket-type shot.
It looks to me like Chad would rather throw some sort of draw here, whether it be the guard or it be the right into the house or whatever. I just sense that he seems to look like he wants to throw that, which is a bit of a surprise. He's a real good hitter, pretty well-known hitter, and well-known as a hitter.
So this is his last rock.
It is, yep. The official with his hand in the air, and they do that just to let the teams know their 90 seconds is getting pretty close to being up. When he pulls it down, the clock starts again.
And the clock has indeed started. Both teams still have 22 minutes left in their thinking time, so looking pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be, not so far, any worries on time. Boys are they're really indecisive on this one.
So it looks like he's going to play some kind of draw. Certainly doesn't want to leave it open for the double.
No, It's a tough call. It's a tough call.
If he froze into the rock on the 8-foot there, I mean, the freeze is a pretty precise shot, but.
How do you get there with that one? Like, I'm
Oh,
not sure.
yeah, okay. From here.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it just wouldn't get enough curl.
No. Anywhere on the inside, though, in that direction. Like, if you can get it partly behind that yellow one at the top of the 8-foot, partially guarding your own, that would be a really good shot. You just have to make sure you line it up in a way that the double's not there. A little tap on your own's okay, too.
Which it looks like it may be.
Yeah, that's a good shot. That's a very good shot. I don't know. Paul's looking at what he's looking at right now is playing the double run back onto the one on the 8-foot, onto the blues, and if you make it, it's for 4. If you don't make it, you're down 4.
It's a lot.
I don't think it makes any sense. He might be able to make it. I don't know. I don't think he can. If he can skinny the guard and have the yellow one come off his own, but I don't think he'd have to throw a rocket, which he can probably do. I think you have to take your point here.
Oh, we have another timeout.
Timeout, yeah. Yeah. I know the temptation maybe is to go for a big end here, but I think you've got to look at it and say that, you know, we can't afford to do something that takes us right out of the game, basically, which is what happens here if you don't make it. So.
And I mean, this is only the 5th end. There's lots.
It's the 5th end. You draw, you're down 1.
Yeah.
Or it's only the 4th end right now. Yeah, you draw 1, down 1 after 4.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what Coach Gavin comes up with. Look at that. I just don't know if that's there. If the yellow one in the front wasn't there, it would be there, but you wouldn't, of course, then you wouldn't have to do it that way, I suppose.
I mean, I guess it depends if you're a big gambler. I would be the play it safe, get your 1, move along. But it is early if you're going to gamble. I guess it's the safest time to make the gamble on the big shot.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking down 5-1 is not a great option.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we hit a little technical glitch there, so you might not have seen a lot of what happened this end. It's been a pretty aggressive end. The Stevens team has kind of controlled the whole end, but Dexter has gradually built up some secondary rocks in the house, and now we're at a point where Chad has just made a really nice draw tap on his. They've a couple of timeouts here. Both teams taking a timeout. It's a pretty key part of the game. Paul Dexter now lining up a double raise takeout thing.
And for those of you not seeing the ice, there is a guard out in front of that rock on the 12-foot there.
Yeah, excellent point, Pam. It's yeah, you might be thinking, well, that looks pretty easy, but it's not as easy as hitting the one that's just on the top of the 8-foot. Yeah,
we've got the new view now.
Exactly.
You can see that you really have to skinny by that guard.
I think he's going to run that guard in. I don't think they're going to try to go by the guard. I think they're actually going to try to run the guard, the long guard, into the one on the top of the 8-foot, and then into the blues. Well, I thought that till just now. So, I don't know. Paul still doesn't seem totally convinced, but it's been a great game and been a good end, been an interesting end. They've taken a long time to play this end. We looked at the clocks a little while ago and said, clocks are no issue, and they still aren't, but they're starting to get down there a little bit. Once you get down, you've got 6 ends to go, and you're at 20. Paul will be at 20 minutes or so when he's done. Just allows roughly 3.5 minutes an end. That's a little tight if you're playing an aggressive style game and thinking a lot. So it looks like he's going to play the in-turn, come by that guard really tight, try to get as much of it as he can, and maybe make the raised double takeout. Sounds easy?
It actually doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound easy.
Yeah. For him, I think he's hoping that if he doesn't make this, he still only gives up 1, and That's probably right, unless this rock, crashes a guard or something. He's probably going to get rid of at least one of the blue ones.
Here we go.
We'll find out. It'll be coming down here pretty quick. Got to get it by the guard.
Uh-oh.
He's close. Wow.
Nice try.
Excellent effort. Excellent effort. I don't even know for sure. I assume he had to hit more of it yet. Had to get a little tiny bit more curl. That was pretty tough. It's really hard to call it any closer to the guard than that. So an excellent try by skip Paul Dexter, but he does give up one.
Those shots are tough to call from a line perspective. It's one thing to release the rock and all of that, but then even the fine tuning of it with the sweeping when you go, that's really tough.
Without the guard there, it's a relatively easy shot, but with the guard there, it's a very, very difficult shot just because of the situation. Dropping one's not the end of the world. Dropping two is really not good. But Chad made a heck of a shot.
He sure did. Yeah. He made that really, really difficult for Team Dexter. And now he's reaping the benefits. He's up 4-1 after 4 ends, and that's a nice place to be for him, I think.
Yeah, so as we go one more end till the break, I think you'll see Chad thinking about playing a little more defense here. I'm not sure he would have loved that end. That did just get a little bit scary.
Ooh.
Throw it in. You're going to see a corner guard go up for sure. They went up when you were tied, so they're going to go up when you're down. So, wow, I didn't even realize over there on sheet 5, they're already playing the 6th end, so they've already had their 5th end break and everything.
And they have more time on their clocks than we do after they've completed their 5th end.
Yeah, they got an extra minute or two, and we've got another whole end to play.
Yeah, these fellas are going to want to pick up the pace maybe just a bit.
Yeah, well, it's tough when you're down 4-1, too, because it's not, if you're down a point or something, sometimes you'll see teams they'll just run through an end and play strategy that isn't necessarily going to help them catch up, but it keeps them from losing by time.
Mm-hmm.
But Paul really can't afford to do that. So the Dexter team, and they're still going to have to play pretty aggressively, which is okay if it doesn't get too nasty because it's really as we've said, it's the thinking time. It's not the style of play. So unless there gets to be a lot of rocks around, there won't be lengthy discussions.
And that was maybe a bit of a mistake on the first one there from the lead on Team Dexter, just where he went in the house. They could remove it.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, you don't want that to happen. That's
tight is good, but touching isn't, and that when you're trying to generate some points.
Stuart Thompson with a shot to get a little bit closer. And he's got a double over there for 2. I think only 2, but maybe 3. No, it looks like it's probably only for 2. Problem is it might jam on the back one, so we'll let you know how that comes out in a couple minutes. So now Chad Stevens just sort of said, okay, I've got a 3-point lead. That might be enough for a little while. We're going to peel things out here. Ian Juurlink, no problem with that.
We're playing a sort of a lightweight tap back here, I think. I think he called sort of board.
Just change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be wanting to remove this. He'll just want to be moving this to the back of the 8-foot or so. That's a very good shot.
Yeah.
Actually, a very good call, too, I think. So everybody else is either in the 5th end break or finished the 5th end break. We are just halfway through this 5th end, so running certainly a little behind, but we got a chance to make up some time. As I said, Chad's going to be playing all takeouts, so Paul's going to have to think a little bit how to manufacture a couple of points, but unless it gets messy, he'll save some time in this end for sure.
So again, just playing a nice little tap here on that shot stone.
Yeah.
Making it, if he makes it properly, it should make it tougher to remove the yellow shot rock that he's throwing now. This is looking like it might be over curling a little.
Yeah, just a smidge light, not terrible. So Stuart Thompson only picked up his one over there against Jamie Murphy. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, it might have.
Perhaps the jam you identified.
Did it? Yeah.
I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, it was lined up to maybe jam on the back, so maybe it did. So he's down 6-2, not in a very good position really at this point, down 6-2 without hammer, but they'll keep playing, try to steal a couple of points, and then maybe give up one and come back and get 2 or 3 with the hammer. Brent McDougall picked up 2 in the 5th end in his game with Mike Fleming and leads 3-1 going to the break. And the other game remains 3-2 for Kendall Thompson. Kendall playing up 3-2 with hammer playing the 6th, so better effort by the Thompson team today. Our game's still 4-1. Lots of blue ones around, but
Cameron MacKenzie just played a nice hit and roll over, so it's looking for a draw, I guess, here. I'm not sure if that rock didn't make it to the rings, so a little bit short. I'm not sure that.
Just got a text from Selena, actually, just after 9 that came in that said that our feed wasn't working. So we might have had it down for a little more than an end, but just let everybody know that this has been a great curling game. There's been a lot of rocks in play. This is about as calm as it's been, is this end. It's both teams have been willing to play, and it's been lots of great shots. Chad Stevens coming off a disastrous Wednesday, really playing super good here today. His team's playing really well as well, but Chad in particular is playing very, very well. And the Dexter team hasn't been playing poorly. It's just they're just been getting outplayed a little bit. Dexter's in a little trouble here, though. It's this rock's going to slide a little bit too deep as well, so it's not a real good one. But I think you have to run this one in now. You can probably get rid of 2 or 3 of the blues.
Yeah, so it would be nice to get a straight run in there and eliminate a few of those blues. It's looking uncomfortable for the Dexter team at the moment. Jiggled a few things around, knocked one out the back door. Currently sitting shot.
Yeah, that's a good shot, though, I think.
Yep.
It's got a yellow one in there in a pretty nice spot. A little bit hard to remove it.
Oh, sorry, blue is shot.
Yeah, blue's
Yep.
shot, but I think yellow is number 2.
Number 2,
maybe?
for sure. Yeah,
number
absolutely.
2, and in a pretty good position. So actually a really good outcome on that one.
Yeah, and Cameron MacKenzie just indicating that the yellow that's in there can't go anywhere. It's got some backing nestled in the nest.
Yeah.
So we see this side of the ice, it usually curls quite a bit. We're seeing that rock break there now. Wow, right to the lid.
Yeah. Chad's got the weight down perfect today. Just really, some
Great.
days you just get that feel. You just feel like you can put it on the button every time.
Yeah.
And that's where he is right now.
And the sweeper's making some great judgment as well. I'm sure these guys are used to managing their clocks. I would be not as used to that. I would be starting to get a little nervous of the time.
Well, I think they will get a little nervous here if they stay in the game and don't.
Down to 17 minutes here on sheet 3, yeah.
I think you get to certain points in games where you say, okay, well, we have to take the time, because if we don't take the time, we're going to lose this game in an end or two.
Right.
So you take the time then and hope that if you do get back in it a little bit, then you can make up the time somewhere, or you can find a way to save some time. But I think at this point, I mean, you have to be reasonable. You can't run the clock down to 4 minutes and then expect to play the next 5 ends. But at the same time, it's no pun intended. But it's he does have to take enough time to figure it out.
So skip Paul Dexter coming out with his first. It's got the intern hit. This is looking good. Ooh. I thought it was looking good because of the sweepers pulling off there.
Yeah, it wasn't good at all.
No.
As a result, I'm a little bit trying to do a little bit of work while I'm doing this. So I'm sorry, but you're having to carry me through a couple of shots here, Pam.
That's okay.
But I can look up long enough to know it doesn't look good.
No, there's
okay, there, good.
Yeah, blue is sitting 3 now, and they're lined up nicely.
Yeah, you know what? In a game that I thought was going to be a real squeaker and go right to the end, this one has the potential to be over early if Chad makes a really good shot here. And Paul doesn't have much. Paul's going to have to make an amazing shot to score. I'm not even sure he can score right now, to be honest.
I don't know.
Look where those rocks are.
Yeah.
Nice shot, Sean.
Especially with only one rock left on the skip side.
Yeah, I don't think he can get rid of both those. So unless Chad puts us in a really bad place, I think he's scoring 1 for sure, and maybe more. Because basically, if
he's looking for top 4, I think there. Do you think?
Yeah, you just have to be careful. You don't set up an angle that lets Paul play like a double or something. That because if he can get at this from the side, my point is, like right now with no guard, the yellow one can't be raised straight back and score.
Right.
But if you set one in the wrong place, it could.
That's not the wrong place, though.
No, that's a pretty good place. Yeah. So Paul is going to try to outdraw 2 of these, I would say. He's not going to outdraw the one on the button. If he can get it in full 4-foot, maybe a little better than full 4-foot, he can hold Chad to 1. And if he doesn't, he's in big, big trouble.
Yeah, this is the full team is needed for this shot. That's for sure. Whether it's the line calling, the sweeping, and the throwing.
You can see on there on that overhead shot. I mean, he almost needs the edge of that little skinny tiny bit of the button that you might be able to see to give up 1. And, if you miss the button by 3 inches, you give up 3. That's a pretty tough shot.
Yes, indeed.
So it's on its way. I would be surprised if he's not close.
Sweepers are sweeping, but they're not going too crazy. They must think the weight is good.
I think he's going to be on the top one. It's just a matter if he'll... Wow. I'll tell you what, that's pretty tough. He's going to give up at least 2 here.
2, maybe 3.
And threw a pretty darn good shot. Yeah, it looks like 3 here, but I don't know for sure.
Difficult to tell with the overhead cameras. They're not always lined up just exactly right.
No.
We'll see if somebody goes for the...
Need some of those overhead cameras that like zoom right in and see whatever, but these are the same cameras they use for their club TVs on a regular basis, so not too many of us have cameras that are that fancy.
Looks like we're going for a measurement here on sheet 3.
So we'll hang in here just for a second until we see if what the outcome is. While we do that, we'll let you know that Kendall Thompson picked up 2 more over there in sheet 5 in the 6th end, take a 5-2 lead after 6, looking for his first win this week. And Robert Mayhew coming off a couple of big wins yesterday. So things are interesting at these events. They don't
It
always
is.
go the way you think they might be going to go.
No, day to day. It's game to game, really.
No, you're right. You know, you just look and say, well, that guy's hot as heck. He just knocked off the number 1, number 2 teams yesterday, and Kendall hadn't won a game, so you're like, that one's not going to be close. You might be right, but it's not going to be close the other way.
Yeah, it's crazy. Here we go with this measurement.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool picture right there.
It is almost a full turn.
Zooming right in.
Oh yeah, it's big yellow.
It's what?
It's yellow.
It's yellow?
Yeah,
You think so?
I think so.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
going to bet you 2 cents it's blue.
2 cents, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's about the limit of my betting.
Do we have cents anymore?
investment.
Do you have any pennies?
Common sense only.
Common
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Oh, good one. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Well, here's the verdict. Ah, you're right again. So Chad Stevens steals 2 in the 5th, takes a commanding 6-1 lead after 5 ends as we go to the 5th end break. Here, we'll be back with you in 5 minutes. bit of cycling on TV. I think it's kind of neat. So anyway, the guys have to stop. Obviously, they're on bikes for 4 hours and drinking lots of water, so they have to stop and have the odd break, and they just call it a nature break.
A nature break.
Yeah. So I think we're back. We must be back, are we?
We are back.
Okay. So the guys are a little anxious out here. They got going actually a little tiny bit before the 5 minutes was up. The clock was still running, and I guess that's when you're up 6-1, you're kind of ready to play.
Yes.
You don't really need to be sitting around waiting a whole lot. So we do have a 6-1 score for Chad Stevens. As we've said a few times, Chad coming off of just a really bad day yesterday, and today looking like he could be winning the World Championships in a couple of months. So 6-1 score. Team Dexter's didn't play very well that last end, I don't think, but up until then have been throwing pretty good shots, Pam. And
I think so, yeah.
yeah, so I think there's still an opportunity. It's not, you need to get a couple here for sure, and you definitely need a 2, and hopefully you maybe get a 3, but 2 for sure. Get you back into it a little bit, and then you can see what happens.
Well, the Stevens team has been setting up very nicely without Last Rock, and I think the last end kind of got lost almost with the first shot going in the house.
Yeah.
By the Dexter team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's you just can't miss those corner guard opportunities. You get really just one chance really with the corner guard to throw up a guard. The second time they can hit it. So it's imperative that you make those shots when you do, and if you slide one in, it's a big difference.
Yeah, and a team like Chad Stevens and most of these teams here will take,
Yeah.
very quickly take advantage
And,
of that.
and the other couple other things too. The Kelly Mittelstadt is playing very, very well. He's just got perfect draw away, throws them, makes them in the exact right spot all the time to set up ends. And then you got Chad, who right now can put it on the button at will and has about 3 or 4 times here in the last couple ends. So. And obviously the other guys are playing very well too, so they're really rolling along, and Paul Dexter and his team are going to have to find a way to manufacture a couple of points. And we saw the fourth end, even though that he gave up a point, he was just a hair from getting 4. I mean,
exactly.
when it finished, there was 1 blue one in there and 4 yellow ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not been, the score doesn't sort of show exactly what happens every end, that's for sure.
Yeah, not completely indicative. Like I say, the last end, yeah, for sure, Dexter was chasing it the whole time and really had pretty much no shot. Had no shot to score. Had a little bit of an opportunity to cut Chad to 1, but I mean, he threw an almost perfect shot just to give up 2. Doesn't appear anything else has changed since we left you a couple of minutes ago, so we'll update you when something happens out here. We'll remind you again, we are back here at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and we have who playing today? So on Ice 3, we have Jill Brothers and Nancy McConnery. Nancy's trying to get her first win, and we were just discussing her a little bit, and that team, another team that's played not that badly this week. They've been in position to win at least 3 of their games, and
very close games.
Yeah, just haven't been able to, combination of not perfect shot making perhaps, but not bad, and a couple of bad breaks here and there. Sometimes it's that way when you're losing a couple of games, and you just it feels and seems and probably is that you're just not going to be getting the breaks, and that's kind of the way it's been for Nancy. She's had a couple of chances to win games and just hasn't been able to pull them out yet. And the other sheet has Teresa Breeden and Julie McAvoy rather, and a really big game there for playoff possibilities, because both teams are sitting at 2-2, and you win that game, you're in pretty good shape. You lose that game, and you could be on the outside looking in. Right now, it looks like 3 losses definitely still is alive at this point, but it's I wouldn't want to be counting on that one.
No, you don't have any wiggle room, that's for sure.
No. So you got Mary Maditall rolling along in the ladies at 4-0. And then you've got, who else do we have out here? Jill's 3-1. Jill Brothers 3-1.
Who does Mary Maditall play this afternoon?
Mary is going to play
Arsenal.
Marianne Arsenault. And Christy Gamble will play Kristen McDermott. So Yeah, Mary certainly has a decent schedule going in. She's only she's going to play Marianne, so she's only playing one of the top 3 seeds in the next 3 draws. But one more win for her, and I think that puts her in the playoffs. I don't think you can not make the playoffs at 5-2.
This looks like a good little shot.
Men's side, we need one more draw before we can kind of speculate at all on the men's side. And with just 3 games, it's just a little bit lean to make a decision on.
Yes, after this evening's draw, there'll be a little more speculation.
Yeah, exactly. Be a little more fun to try to guess. I'll check that one out. I won't be here tonight, so I'll watch that one on Bell Alliance TV 1. Look forward to that. Are you doing any more games today, Pam?
I'm not, no.
No?
No. We'll be back for 50-50.
50-50, yes.
Bring in one of the juniors later today to do some 50-50.
Yeah, is that going pretty well?
I think it is, yeah.
Good.
Every little bit counts.
Yeah, 50-50s are nice, and most of the time when they run them at curling clubs across the province, they're usually for junior programs. I know ours at Blue Nose in New Glasgow is we do a weekly one, and it's earmarked to junior curling as well. We don't get up to that 1.6 million that they win on Chase the Aces, but
no, I don't think we do either.
No. Missing how many zeros? Well, 6 zeros or 5 zeros, maybe 5 zeros. But anyway, it's a lot of fun, and it helps support the programs, and that's a good thing. Well, I don't know. The boys fell asleep a little bit on that. Mark Robar trying to duck in around the blue one in the house. So Paul Dexter playing this whole 6th, and then we kind of talked our way through the whole end. There really wasn't anything developing much for Team Stevens, and looking more and more like he might have to just end up taking 1 point here. And we have our first final of the day over on sheet 2. Jamie Murphy and Stuart Thompson have shook hands.
And the Murphy team looks pretty happy about it, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what happened the 6th end, but they obviously scored something. And yeah, they're feeling pretty good, I think. They've played pretty good the last 3 games. They've gotten leads and really just kind of dominated a little bit.
Yeah, Jamie Murphy was leading 6-2 going into that end. And
yeah, with the hammer, that's pretty good shape. So Chad removes the shot Dexter Stone, and Paul now will try to play the same shot as Mark, I think, where he sort of partially ducks around the blue one in the 8-foot. Maybe try to half bury it or quarter bury it, just any little piece of it behind the blue one to maybe make it a little more difficult for Chad to remove it. Grasping a little bit here for sure.
Yeah, Stevens' team has really kept this end very clean, as you would expect with the lead that they have.
Yeah, they have. They really have. So Paul, we showed us a couple ends ago, he had pretty nice draw weight, so he's going to need that same weight here. Line looks pretty good. It's got lots of room. It's got to curl a mile yet.
It's a little hot, maybe, compared to what he thought.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely a little too much weight, maybe a little too much ice. Yeah, really getting shot rock wasn't what they were looking for there. They just wanted to be in behind the blue one. Shot rock would have been a bonus, but.
So this should just be a pretty straightforward hit.
Yeah, looking more and more like we will have no undefeated teams by the time this draw is over. Chad turned that one maybe a little tiny bit, but I think he's okay. Those guys will be able to hold it. And no problem at all. Paul Dexter will have to draw for his 1 point and then try to steal the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and the extra end.
In 13 minutes.
Oh, yeah, 13. Yeah, he has to do it quickly, too.
Yes. Yeah, that will be a bit of a challenge as well.
He'll be fine. They'll be fine. They're going to be throwing. It's not one thing about it when you're down that many, Pam, is really you don't have to think a little bit about protection. So
Right.
it's basically all offense, and that's usually a little easier to think about it. You don't have to spend so much time thinking about it. Got to make this one first.
Yeah, first things first, exactly.
As they're sweeping lightly, so he's probably pretty good shape. Certainly not heavy. It's very nice.
Right to the lid for the skipper.
So live to play another end, anyways. Good shot by Paul Dexter. Put it right on the button.
And that makes the score 6-2 for Chad Stevens' team.
6-2. These top 4 seeds in this event are not playing the way they're supposed to play. They're supposed to have a couple of burner games, and they haven't really worked out that way.
Well, that's good. It speaks highly of the field that's here, keeping everybody in check.
Yep.
So, of course, Paul is looking for a center guard. It looks like he wants it to be relatively high on this first one.
Well, this is that situation where you want to have 2 guards. So you're going to want a high guard and then a tight guard.
Yeah.
It's kind of that in-between one that makes it almost a little bit harder sometimes.
And here comes Kelly Mittelstadt with his first, looking to draw in behind the yellow guard that was just placed.
Oh, that one's out there a long way too, but seems we say that all the time. That's what's so much fun about this ice. It will, if you can have the right weight, you will get that finish.
I don't think he's going to bury, though.
No, he's not buried, but it was 4 feet. I was basically only on about the edge of the 8 foot when it hit the hog line and curled about 4 feet in the last, 20 or so. Good weight by Kelly, probably a little tiny bit deeper than he wanted, but not much.
After seeing a few hits on the last end, it makes these guards look extra slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great shot.
That is a good shot, yeah. It's definitely a good shot.
So where would the ideal spot be for Chad Stevens to put this rock?
But just top 8 foot, partially buried. He's going to be peeling after this, actually, so it's kind of almost just a little weird. You work so hard to make them perfect, and then you just go up and peel guards and leave them wide open anyway. This is such a late finish. This one might be a little deep. I don't know if Kelly will be super happy with this one.
It's bumped into the one on the first one there.
Yeah, I don't think that's a real good shot. It has provided some backing for the Dexter team, something to kind of nuzzle up to, and
prevents an easy removal if they place this rock nicely.
Yeah. This one looks pretty good coming in here.
It does.
Guys are going pretty hard at it. Just go so hard. Well, a little bit of an error on the sweeping, I think. I think they could have went a little bit earlier than they did on that one.
Just for the weight.
Yeah, just for weight, yeah. It's not bad.
And
I think it would have been better. Once these guards are gone, it's quite removable, whereas if they had held it a little straighter, bumped it a little tiny bit, sat kind of in that little pocket, it would have been much harder to get rid of.
Yeah. And you could see it was a little light just by where it started to curl,
Yeah.
I think.
Ian making the
nice.
double peel. Very good shot. Very good shot for Ian Juurlink.
That makes short work of some effort put in by the Dexter team.
Yeah, so Paul's going to have to throw the guard back up here again.
The guard's not bad. Looks like they'll go after it once again now.
Yeah, they will.
Keep that front open.
It'll be gonna be hard for Dexter to do much here. If these guys make this peel a few times, he's gonna have to eventually make a bit of a play on the blue ones. But at the end of the day, Chad's probably gonna end up with a wide open hit of some nature to score.
Well, and as it stands right now, he's shot.
Who shot? Chad?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guard goes up by Mark Robar. It's the right side. You'd like to be guarding. If you have to guard one side or the other a little bit, you like to leave the side open that we see, because it's there's no opportunity really for Chad to remove the yellow one on that side.
There we go. Same situation. So now he's looking to switch it up, maybe.
I don't think you can. I think you have to guard. He played the little freeze. If he plays the freeze in there, I think he's got to throw guard. I think he'd probably go in there on his first one.
Yeah. Yeah, he signaled for the guard, I think, as you mentioned. There was some excitement on the air.
Well, Mike Fleming stole one in the seventh end there.
He did, yeah.
Brent had what looked like not wide open, but a reasonably easy hit for two to take pretty big control of that game. But
oh boy, we have a hog shot.
Rock.
Does hurt. Yeah. Chad's looking to explode the end down there and remove anything and everything, but mainly the yellow. Yeah, that's an end changer there, having the hog rock so late.
Yeah, Chad will just blast this out now, and he'll lose one of his own, but he doesn't really care.
Yeah, still
actually
sitting.
Even rolled to not too bad a spot, I guess.
And it looks like over on sheet 5, Robert Mayhew picked up a point in the 7th end, so the score stands at 5-3 over there for Kendall Thompson.
5-3, and it looks like Robert's only got one shot left, and it's not looking real great. I don't really know where he's going to play here. I guess maybe he might be able to make a draw in there, but Kendall still has one left to throw, so. Anyway, they're going to chat about it. They called a timeout over there, so see how that ends up. The freeze attempt now by Paul Dexter. There's not a lot to freeze do down there, but he's going to give it a try.
Without anything to hide behind, there's not much choice, but also, as we just saw with the last shot, a little bit of weight, they can pop lots out of there.
Oh, you're right. It's not an easy freeze to get it into a position where it's difficult to remove, for sure.
Doesn't seem to be curling quite as much as I think they would have hoped.
It's a pretty nice weight. Just a hair heavy. Just that little tiny bit too much. Now it's pretty easy. Just another couple feet less, and he might have been in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Or as good a
let
shape
the
as he could
sweepers
be.
take
Yeah.
it and then drag it in for you.
Yeah. Take a long time to talk about this for a shot that doesn't really seem like it needs that much. I don't know what's wrong with just hitting it right on the nose.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be anything magical here,
No.
given the scoreboard in particular.
Well, exactly, yeah. Hit it right on the nose, and then Paul's going to have to make probably the double and stay for one. That's what it's going to do anyway. Maybe roll a little tiny bit. Yeah, that's a good shot. Paul will draw, probably. No.
Well, he doesn't have last rock here.
Oh, no. All right, yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I guess maybe that's why they were taking so long. Yeah, I forgot about that. Well.
He's got a lot of rocks to deal with in a...
If we weren't broadcasting it, I'd say that he's toast.
Oh, but since we are, we won't say that.
We won't say that, no. He might be able to get possibly, but
if he does, I don't know if he'll even hang around.
No. Well, yeah,
He
I probably
might,
would,
yeah.
Pam, because you're going to hit it right basically in between the
In
two of them.
between, yeah.
Right in the crotch there, so. The problem with it, if you make it, then Chad blanks probably, and now you're down 4 with 3 ends to go. So, but you don't have a choice. You can't manufacture a guard, so.
Yeah, and it really does come back. I think any hope he had of pulling out a good end here was lost with the hog draw.
Yeah. So I think he can hit it right just to the right of the broom, just right in between those two blue ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think in there and make the triple. And give Chad basically the wide open hit for one or blank.
Mm-hmm.
You could hit it on the nose probably, but then you're going to give him a draw for 2. And if you hit it on the left-hand side as we're looking at it here, your shooter's probably going to go, and not so sure that all the blue ones are going. So,
right, I think it jam.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to hit it right in the crotch, as we say, right there between the two. So anyway, we're going to throw the out turn down here. Paul will be throwing this one pretty hard. Still amazes me when I see everybody throw it that hard, how easy they make it look. Oh, he's going the in turn, so he's going to hit it the other way. Yeah, I didn't think that could work. I really didn't.
Chad Stevens has a draw. Oh, they're shaking.
So the guys are going to shake. Chad Stevens picks up 2 more. A dominating performance by Team Stevens here today. It was, really a one-sided affair right from the get-go, and Dexter obviously didn't have his best stuff. He started this event 3-0, so he's quite capable of playing much better than that. But Chad's team really looked sharp in this one. So.
Yep, they did look sharp.
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
did. So we're going to sign off for now. We've been a pleasure bringing you the game here from the Deloitte Tankard. And we'll look forward to seeing you this afternoon for the women's draw. The final score here, Team Stevens, Chad Stevens 8, Paul Dexter 2. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you this afternoon.
See you this afternoon.